review. These come from Noel James. YouTube channel is Legends Toy TV channel. So he doesn't have any content, so you can't really go check him out. For some reason, when I go to my folders, it will not show the camera anymore. We'll have to figure out how to do that. And I got this little microphone, and I don't know if I need that either. So this one might be a little rough. But let's check here. We got some Death Guard. I believe this is a Blight Hauler. Now this looks really good. Let's see if we can go full screen on that. Hopefully you guys can see this well. If not, I'll redo it. But we're gonna zoom in here. So this one I like a lot. I would like to see this base darker than the rim of the base here, darker than the gravel. I don't like when the base is too close in color to the gravel. That could be pictures or whatever. I don't know. I also really hate when the rim of the base is a color that repeats itself in the model unless it's black. This looks really cool with the weathering. I feel like you could put some rust in some of these. Like these are probably beat up, especially these chains. Let's see if we can zoom in there. So I feel like these chains might have a little orange in them. This looks pretty cool. This part looks unpainted to me. I do like the overall muted tones. So I think you could add some contrast with maybe some bright silver scratches or some sponging. You could also pick out these missiles in here. They don't have to be super bright like a Space Marine missile, but something just to bring the eye over there. Also, I think you could darken up the points of these guns as if carbon or something has collected there. All of this weathering's really nice. You have to decide if these are right here and right here, if those are like pox marks or if they're part of the metal. Here you chose they're part of the metal. If you wanted to add a little interest in there, you could pick those out. You could also use some sort of color or different color inside this slit here. This lens, I believe, could be picked out. I feel like you're missing a little bit of visual interest there. And of course on this mouth, I think you would be okay bringing more intensity or vibrancy into the reds here, and that would contrast with the muted dull tones, unless you're trying to keep it all muted. It looks like you're kind of going for this is glowing, and the glow is coming out here on the rocks. Overall, I think this one's really nice. You'll have to decide if any of my advice on that will bring it to a level you like. This could also be a work in progress. I'm not sure, but it looks really good. Let's go on to the next one. I don't know how to do that. Oh, geez. All right, here's the next one. So this is the skin tone we can see on the back. I'm going to assume both of these are very similar. They look done to a very nice tabletop standard. Now I would just wonder if you want to touch it up a bit. You could sponge on some black here on the end. Also, you could sponge on some light as if it was catching some reflections from the sky. And I mean, it could be random, just a real quick hit with a dry brush or a wet brush. You could put some rust or something in these tracks down in here. I would think a lot of dirt and muck would accumulate down in here. It looks like this over here is repeated from the skin, which I like how it balances front and back of the model. Although I think the skin could get a few more touches. You don't have to pick out maybe all these like veins and stuff, but even if you just glazed a little bit of yellow or green or something, probably yellow to go more with your kind of muted sand tones here, and that would pick out these kind of bumps. And here also with this gash, you could, you know, darken that in or change the color a little bit, make it look more like an open wound. And with this red fade here, I wouldn't mind one extra level of darkening around these vents, just to give it a little more infected and like protruding out of skin, like your skin or this guy's skin is rejecting this thing being there, but it has no choice, so it's just going to be infected and gross, kind of like if somebody gets a piercing and they're allergic to the metal. I like this one a lot. Another thing real quick, so now even looking at it again, this lens, I think something should go there, some kind of color. Could be like a purple or something. Repeat one of these colors just in a brighter or glossier version. So you could take this kind of reddish purple tone, make that a purple lens. It'll still fall in your color scheme here, but it'll really draw that out. Like maybe it's a eyeball or robot eye or something's actually seeing out of that. Would be pretty nice. This guy, I think the next picture is this one. These are super cool. I feel like these skulls are painted exactly the same as this, which to me says they're made out of the same material, and maybe they are, but I think this could just take one little extra highlight, even just one swipe, you know, down twice, 3 times of like a dry brush, and that would just pick out like the little eye sockets, and that could be the lightest dry brush you ever did in your life. I think that would add a nice little interest there, unless you don't want the interest, of course. You could also add a little bit of rusting or something like right in here. I feel like water could maybe collect right there. You have some wash in that one. I can't tell if it's in that one. You definitely have it in there, so maybe just a little interest. Here's some more of those pox marks. This front grill looks clean to me. It's muted, it's dirty colors, but it feels clean, which I don't think would be the case. I think this would be demolishing things and in front of its path, and that's also, you know, going to get hit with bullets and things. A lot of these holes, I'm assuming, are from bullets and whatnot that this thing's crashed through. So I'd like to see some bright silvers or something. Not clean edge highlights unless you're going for a stylistic approach, but just scratches or sponge effect or dry brush, and just to bring some kind of damage to the tips. And I think that'd look really nice. All right, here he is. Look at that. That's awesome. Oh, now it's working. Okay. Oh, let's continue on this one. This is super nice. Same thing here. One extra height. It might be the same exact model. One extra highlight on these skulls, I think, could make them just stand to pop right in front. And a little bit more interest on these metal spikes. I don't think they all need that. Just maybe right here on the front, because you got a picture. If he's this dirty, he has been cruising through the muck. You could also bring up some of your basing material from maybe your other models. I don't believe this model has a base. I'm considering starting to base all my tanks because I think it looks cool, but that's neither here nor there. So you could actually take, so the way you're basing the plague or blight haulers, and use some of that effect down here. So it's like he's driven through where they are currently, or they're all in the same battlefield. So not only will they match color scheme, but they'll also, even though this one doesn't have a base, it will be pulling some of that element over to this model. So I think that'd be pretty solid. I really like these muted rust tones and this chipping. I don't know if that's done with like a salt and hairspray, or if you did that with a sponge. That's really, really good. And this kind of red industrial rusted metal really gives it a just a really nice, like, industrial, no frills kind of machinery. So it's just a matter of how dirty you want to go. I feel like with this, you went real dirty, but on this model, the metal is not real dirty or banged up. Could be you're going for kind of that interesting contrast, which I do like, or you haven't considered maybe the metal could go farther. So let's go on to the next one. Oh, now it doesn't want to work. There we go. Now this guy's really good. I like that a lot. Let's see here. So this, what you did here, I don't know if that's airbrush or just a, that transition's really nice. If that's airbrush, I'd like to know. If it's done with a brush, really, really great job. I like the marble and concrete. Actually, I don't know if it's marble or just interesting, like concrete slabs here on the base. Super cool either way. I think these models are kind of hard to pick out the gold from the gold, but it seems to work really well here. I like how the red is repeated. He has kind of a maroon red armor here, red cape, red hair, and then a gloss kind of candy red on his bike. Very, very cool. One thing I see, I'm not saying I do this, but I do see it a lot, and that'll make the red, and maybe I actually have it up here, but the red will even, especially this cape, say it's like silk or satin or something, it's going to bounce red light. So if you put some red glazed into the shoulder down here, or into this thigh guard thing, or even a little bit into the shadow maybe here, that'll really give it the effect that this red is even more vibrant and it's bouncing light. Because light, I wish I could draw on this. Oh, maybe I can. Oh, let's see. Well, this isn't the best, but so if light was hitting here, then light, I don't know, light would bounce there, that sort of thing. So that is just an idea to take it to, I'm not saying I do this or whatnot, but I do see a lot of the competition painters do it, and it does add a nice touch. And you're obviously much farther along than a beginner, so I think you be pretty confident in trying that out. This guy is pretty cool. Looks like an airbrush transition here. I like the purple to pink. This pink kind of reminds me of the vehicles. Same with this red metal. So that's pretty great to match your models, especially your HQ, with your vehicles. So on the tabletop, they all look great together. Now this guy, oh, look at all these cool paints you got down here. Crusted rust deposits. I need to get me some of that. This guy looks like you actually did put some extra, I see it right there, some extra oomph or whatever on the metal, and I like that a lot. I'm not sure this one's done, and I'm saying that, although you got the clean base, so I'm thinking he's done, but I don't necessarily, I think there could be more contrast from model to base, kind of kept the green tones, especially this darker, it's a lot of green, it's probably intentional. I'd consider contrast there, or even maybe bringing some of this purple into some of the deep shadows of the rock, and that can actually help the model feel grounded. So let's see if we can go to our little draw tool. So let's say we got purple, so now let's cut him off here. Oh, we got that little piece too. But here, there's none. and it's really bright out here. So I don't think you have to go there. I think you could take this kind of darker purple where it's kind of approaching a brown purple. I think if you put maybe underneath that rock there, right there. Oops, sorry, I can't really draw with my mouse. Underneath that rock there, maybe a little bit down in there, maybe a little touch down in there. Not to the same exact intensity, but that'll make him feel more cohesive. This drawing tool is pretty cool. Hopefully that's useful, and hopefully this records. If not, we'll have to do it again. I think this robe could use quite a bit more interest. You're obviously crushing it on this other, clean lines and base coats and rust techniques and stuff in this muted tone. So I would explore maybe some more muted tones in here. So you went for a red and so let's say he's red and green complementary color scheme, red, reddish browns, green, reddish, orange, purple, both have red, green down here. So maybe continue that a little bit. I see in here you have it, but I don't know, it just seems big and green and not as much interest as I think you really could be putting into this robe. Another way, bear with me, let's go back to our drawing tool. So we got purple. Now, if we had purple, right, and then that would give you some balance to that. And then you still could even do a slightly different one under the rocks if you wanted. So it would go a bunch of warm purples, maybe some cool bluer purples with the cool green. Definitely a cool green base, and it could have some warm purple shadows. So just something interesting to think about. Very nice. With Nurgle, I really like the idea you can go far on how actually painful the model might be. And then by that I mean, like, do these holes in the wings hurt, or are they just holes? Because right now they look, like good holes. And you got some wash or glaze around them. But you could really play with the idea that, maybe there's some more painful effect. Not just like gloss blood or nothing like that, but I just mean more bruising or discoloration. And that'll just sell the fact that maybe it is a more painful part of it, or maybe he's used to it. Maybe they're old wounds. I'm not really sure. I don't think you showed me the face of this guy. Oh, yes, you did. So here's where the green, I see you actually faded it into like a smoky color. Here's where the green seems too much of the same, from tippy top, besides right here, to the bottom. So this green right here, to me, let's go back. I guess it's going more into a brown. Ooh, this rust's looking really nice there. That looks really good. I wonder if it's that secret paint you accidentally took a picture of, and now I'm gonna take your weathering. Also, these bones could probably get picked up a touch more. Just, I don't know, sometimes people go dark to light or light to dark. So I think, just you could explore that a bit. And that would help. See, from here, the bone doesn't necessarily, it's so close in intensity and color, saturation, that this metal, this bone, and this wing all kind of, this is, I think, what I need to buy down here. It's all very similar in every way it's handled. So if you just picked out that bone just a little bit right there, and maybe right there, it'll just pop a little bit forward when you're looking at it from this angle. I think, so here's another thing. I don't know if you want to repeat the exact same rust over and over again. Obviously it's working, but if this cord here, I'd pick that out to not be green, just because it's so close to this cloth. And like I said, if it's the same color, then in miniature painting, I do believe it comes across as being made of the same material on per model, not across different models, but on the same model. This green to me reads that it's made out of the same thing as this green. So just something to think about. This rust could be staining more, but then you would be maybe repeating this color down into here, and that might be more the same thing. So I think maybe just explore a different tone of green or purple, or maybe even start to introduce a touch of a new color that, maybe like a yellowish brown. You could even pull it maybe like this color, but with a little bit of yellow added to it. And that could be like some staining on here, maybe, I don't know. You got it down here, but no, this actually probably matches the wings, so that's a pretty nice touch there. The big scythe he's holding, I think you could definitely make that a little more gruesome. It is his like main weapon, and it doesn't seem like it's like the edge of the blade at least could have some sponging, have bright silver or an edge highlight, just to make it look a little more I don't know, interesting. Or even just take this beautiful rusting over onto here. It doesn't have to be around the blade because that's probably hitting stuff, but maybe in here it's rusting up. So just something to think about. And let's go on to the next one. I love these next ones. Oh, look at that. That is awesome. So cool. The line work is phenomenal. If you can zoom in all the way to here and you got it that clean, then you're doing something just exactly right. This lightning effect, very cosmic energies. It's like Thanos. I'm not a huge fan of the like honeycomb on Eldar. Not because I don't think it looks cool, but because I think everybody on Instagram does it now. So if you wanted to not, I think you were talking about selling these ones, but so they'll probably sell really well because they're super nice. There might be a little bit of dust on them. I think the camera might be picking up a little dust, so they might need a wipe down. Right here it seems dusty. Super cool. I don't know how you got the line so clean. That's very, very interesting and nice. That looks like we found a little mistake. Right there. And that's just to tease you there, but these are awesome. Look at those guys underneath too. So I like these ones a lot. The cosmic thing is also kind of common in Eldar. The super clean white line is not. These ones obviously are very, very well done. And I can't do better, so I'm just going to talk about artistic ideas on these and what I like, my favorite here. So bases are super cool. I like the flowers. I like the dirt plus concrete plus space metal plus gemstone, plus metallics plus, everything's, you got all the materials. It's super nice. Now this, I feel like this is awesome. Like, this is real high level, like artistic looking. Now that, if that was repeated more, that would be jaw-dropping. Looks very landscaper, sunrise, sunset painting, kind of like a Bob Ross technique or something, which he's obviously not the best oil painter, but you get what I'm saying. And it looks like this is repeated multiple times. I feel like you could have repeated it more. Look at that. The dark into the purple, and then you see the light peeking out, and then it's almost like a sunset. Those could be treetops, could be space clouds. I don't know. That's awesome. That I feel is a higher level selling point of like cosmic, interesting Eldar craziness. than the honeycomb or the white specks. And definitely I'm not a huge fan of the white airbrush stars. On this planet, though, it looks super cool, like this like Mars planet here. Very, very cool. Oh, I gotta close my likes. Super awesome on that one. I don't know what else to say about this. I think you were talking about selling these, so you're probably not going to go back and work on them. I would love, man, you hit it out of the park on this part. Oh, this was so neat. Now, if you repeated that same style or same technique, I don't know if you did that with an airbrush or if you painted it on or both, but if you repeated that on, say, a unit of swooping hawks or a unit of fire dragons or something, maybe not the exact same colors for the swooping hawks, or maybe you'd probably have the most interesting, best looking unit aspect warriors, on the interwebs. So those are fantastic. I would love to know how to do that. Awesome. And then from all the way zoomed out, that's beast mode. Very nice on those. Now these are Super Airbrush Town USA. Looks like somehow I can see my own reflection in them. That's me back there. I think you have, let me just double check because this thing is awesome. Yeah, so we'll talk about him in the next one. So let's go down to these guys. I personally am not a huge fan of the white star effect. But here it's like a sun setting over like a planet. And I think you're capturing it better than in the other ones. Now these are intense. So nice. I don't know if you use like custom heads. I mean, no, it's probably just the angle. But super awesome. The purple and yellow color scheme. You repeat the gold tones from the engines and stuff down here in the base, which is super nice. I think that one's really good. Let's go all the way in on that one. Look at that. You really captured a sphere on this one right here. That's fantastic. I don't know if you painted this light or if it's just a natural light of the light you took the photo under. These gems are really awesome. One thing to think about too, which is why maybe you don't, that one comes out good, but part of it is it's also picking up a big reflection from the lighting in your case here, or your camera. I don't think you used a flash, but your camera flash possibly. See how much light that's picking up? I don't think it's painted to that gigantic of a white circle. That's what it's coming off as to me. It's a little more subtle here, and I like with the kind of speckling around it. Super nice. You are the planetary Eldar master, if nobody told you. And sometimes it looks just phenomenal. This one's here, I don't know. The little lights look too much. These ones I kind of like. It's like a sun setting or moon setting. This one's super nice. Let's go back here. Very awesome. It kind of reminds me if you've ever seen people like out on the street and they do like the newspaper spray paint art and they do all the planets and stuff. And you really captured that kind of technique, I think. I don't know if you use like newspaper to dab it or however you did it, but it looks really, really good. I think you could even add, and you might have done it here, this gives it texture. So yeah, you're far away, it's a planet, and it looks very, very good as far as a sphere, but a little bit of extra texture in there would sell it like an actual moon or planet. So these are amazing, super cool, and they're all together like that too. I think you're going to get a lot of money for this if you do end up selling them. Or if you haven't heard, Eldar is super good, so maybe just play them. Or of course send them to me. I'll add them to my Eldar army that I haven't played in 8th edition. Now this guy is awesome, so awesome. I do have a big complaint, not a big complaint, but this, I don't understand this right here. The care and love that you put into this model, even that perfect little touch of light bouncing off his underwear here, and you caught the light down, so everything transitions dark to light. And then you just, not to be harsh, but sprayed this pink and then sprayed it white. Not picking up this technique. This seems more beginner. This seems super advanced. Like, so good. Here, what did I do? Here, you picked up the light reflections. Really, really good. I'm going to guess this is airbrushed, or your paint skills are amazing. I really, really like breaking up the edge highlight. That was probably partially for your own sanity, so you don't have to trace the whole thing. But also when you trace the whole thing, he'll start to look possibly like a toy and not so much like a model. Not sure if this was intentional. Here, I'm thinking you had such a perfect white that it didn't seem worth the hassle to go back and clean this. I don't think it matters because you have this reflection of like a moon in his face here, and that gives him just like this super cosmic, like just super I don't know, cosmic like power being. I don't know. He looks like he's walking around a planet, and in his face you can see the sky, and that sky is, filled with planets and stars, and obviously not Earth. And because of that light from these planets at nighttime and his, maybe just shininess of his armor, he's like picking up moonlight or starlight reflections. I like how this is repeated, dark to light, dark to light. And then here it reverses, dark to light. Super cool, dark to light there. This one I would say is beast mode. So good. I don't even know how to begin critiquing this, just besides this effect that I don't care for. I think you did it better than a lot of people where they go a little overboard, but I don't know, like maybe even just like a little wash or something. Like if the light is coming out of these holes, then it wouldn't like come out and curve around these surfaces, and this is like deeper in the plane than this, so it's coming out and then up and around this, so it's like you're painting the air in front of this instead of painting this. So it's just something to think about with this effect, and it's partially maybe just because like in oil painting I'd rather see a painted still life with brushstrokes than an airbrushed martini glass, if you've seen some of those painting things. Now this guy, obviously you don't need the brushstrokes and all this, or even here, but this isn't sold to me as like the level of this. These guns seem, I don't know, maybe you haven't. Oh, there's also toothpicks. I see toothpicks. Why are there toothpicks? It's maybe just to hold your model while you're painting it, hopefully. I hope those toothpicks aren't part of the model. Using things like, let's just pretend these toothpicks aren't part of the model. Using things like this, if you have to paint them, because they will look like toothpicks. And that's part of the reason I don't like this effect on the gun, because to me, that looks like the effect people use on Warhammer to create like a plasma glow. So I think somehow you gotta get a little more creative on how you do it, even if you just popped up some highlights or darken maybe some edges, something. As far as if you're not keeping this guy, I think you'll get triple, probably $350 for him, I would imagine, maybe more. I don't know. Super, super good. I obviously don't know how to use my airbrush looking at this, because assuming this is airbrushed, you're much better at it than I am. Oh, one more thing. So this gem is painted, this one's not. And that seems weird to me. If I had like, I think this might be the only one that's not painted. You might have just missed that one. Yeah, it looks like you pretty much, I mean, maybe not that little one there. And I know Eldar don't always paint all of them. And I wouldn't even say anything about that one, except clearly you painted it there. So that's something to think about. Well, I think that's it. Yeah, that's all we got. Super, super cool. Look at that. It's like right out of World War One. Freaking awesome. And this guy here, just a beast. Love the sparkling and the gems. The little white dot just gives you that extra reflection of whatever he's looking at, or reflecting into his face. You can tell that cosmic energy and glow is also hitting these gems. Super cool. Hopefully that was useful to you. Hopefully I didn't say the word too many times. I felt like I was in the beginning. I didn't want to bring it up, because then you probably would have only heard that for the rest of the video. So hopefully we'll get better at these. And I think I've been doing this for about 30 minutes, so hopefully I can upload this to YouTube. Also, thank you for submitting the photos. If anybody else wants to submit the photos, I'll put my email below and we could talk about some of your work. I'd also like to talk about some of my work when I get some photos done. I'm trying to do a Sons of Medusa guy, and I'd love to hear you guys really critique it, because I'm trying to bring it up to, you know, like the level of this guy, this knight here. So anyway, talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. There's like one more day to sign up for the giveaway, and so go over and watch that video and win Abaddon. And that's about all we got for now. Hopefully the screen capture, I don't know if it's going to show my face in any of this. I don't think it will. I think it, for some reason, only the program I'm using is Loom. I just downloaded it, so it's my first time using it. And it looks like down here you can see my face. Oh, look at that. Hey, that's kind of neat. Well, I don't know how to get it on the photos yet, so maybe we'll try a different one. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to be super upset, because I tried to give it a really good review. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.